art history degree, but we didn't really have a lot of art background before we got into the arts many years ago. But it was always a passion for us, and we just kept following it. And here we are in a really important position today. Let's see, first we wanted to talk a little bit about kind of how we approach the show. You know, it is always challenging to do something like this when you have, I think we've had, what, 308 entries total, something like that, and there's 40 pieces. So you're talking just barely over 10% of the people get the show. And it's super hard, and especially with a show like this, because there was such diverse work in terms of style, medium, the message, and it really makes it tough because every piece of work that we looked at, an artist put their heart and soul into. And so you hate to say, this one's good, this one's not. And that's not how we approach it. But you can't have 308 pieces in the show. So,
not in this show.
Yeah. So tell us how we started.
So we each individually reviewed all of the pieces. You know, it just helps to see, right? Whenever we're jurying shows, the first thing is just see everything. Just absorb it. No judgment, not trying to rank anything, just look at it all, right? Just get an understanding. And then we sat down one Sunday and we just started from the top. And what we did was we started picking our favorites, right? What really spoke to us? What made us want to go back and look again and again and again? I think with the theme of 360, one of the interesting things is you do have a lot of narrative work, right? And I'm a sucker for good narrative work. And so it's really, what story do you want to hear, right? What do you want to come back to again and again? So there is like an eye for technical excellence, right? But I think with a theme like this, you also really want to be drawn in, right? You really want to experience the emotion that was the intention behind the piece.
A couple of things we did try and do is we wanted to have a mix of mediums because there was so many different mediums, you know, in the call or in the applications. We wanted a mix of mediums, and we also tried very hard to not repeat an artist. For me, when you put a show together like this, I want to try and get as many individual artists in the show as I can. So we tried very hard not to have more than one piece per artist, even though some of the artists, we could have easily picked all the pieces that they submitted. But we wanted to have a diverse show, and we wanted to represent as many of the artists as we could. So we only failed 2 times, but.
And we don't know who the artists are, except for with the few exceptions of work that we know the artists very well, and we're like, yeah, we know whose work that is.
So that was hard. You know, picking 308 down to the 40-something was super hard. Even harder, since we liked all 40 that we picked, was picking winners, right? So let's talk about the winners. Should we go, or do we need to stay since they're...
Let's travel white space, even though it's not white.
I was a big fan of the simplicity of it, and I loved the light on here. I just loved the light. It's, you know, what this does, how this is portrayed is not super intricate, right? But I loved the light, and I loved the perspective that you were getting, kind of a little bit from top of this person dangling over sort of the map of the world. And of course the artist, and you can read the statement, talked about how last year was a balancing act for them. So a literal portrayal of what happened to them last year, but again, simple, very well done, and like you said, I love the, you know, using the maps is not new. We've seen people do it before, but I just think the way this is done was really well. And a great not just balance in the picture itself too. So, cool.
Great, thank you.
Go back. All right, ladies, we're going right here.
Her school art teacher at Westminster. He talked a lot about using his students in the works. One of the things we loved about this piece is you can feel the teenage angst. I have lived through teenage angst, and this is it. And I don't want to hear the words that are coming out of her mouth next, but that is sass, 100, that one right there. Sass, right there.
Yeah, I wonder where she learned that. One thing I was drawn to is it's very painterly. Obviously, I love the sleeve in here. I love the attention to detail, everything from like the moles and the earrings, even down to the little tattoo on the finger right here. Again, speaks to teenager and what did you say, longing? That's what you saw in this.
And that was part of his statement too, was trapped in the vastness of a sometimes overwhelming existence. Yeah, not just her, me too.
And to me, it had a little bit of a surrealistic quality to it too, especially with all the clouds over here and the great colors. But composition was great. Love the message behind it, and again, just super well done.
Okay, I'm gonna say, I'm biased, I love Banaz's work, period. But what I loved about this particular piece is this is joy. This is an explosion of joy right here. And
I be better? What should I do? And one of the things we encourage artists is to find your voice. What's something that's going to separate you? And I think Banaz has found her voice. When you see a piece like this, you go, oh, that's Banaz. You know, it's kind of hard not to recognize.
And both of her works, it was actually very, very difficult to pick between them, were just storytelling in ceramic form, right? Like, it literally tugs at your heartstrings. And I just thought it was beautifully done, amazing storytelling. Yeah, and I wanted to sit and chat and learn more.
And again, the literal, some of the stories, like you said, wearing your heart on your sleeve, pulling on the heartstrings. You see the sorrow in her face, especially after you read the statement. And not just that, it's so well rendered. You know, and again, I think she's found her voice. You could tell when we saw the other piece, we knew it was the same artist, and that I feel like this artist has found their voice. But again, you know, the sad eyes and the dark under the eyes just portrays the sorrow that this artist, which I don't know if they're here, but oh, excellent, the sorrow that they have had over the last year, and it's just.
I'm sorry for your sorrow, but I love the art.
So honored.
It's a fabulous piece, and we were happy to give it best to show.